Welcome to FBB Forum. If you like this content, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'm very pleased to welcome the beautiful IFBB Pro Women's Physique competitor and posing coach, Sheronica Henton. Sheronica has been hi. Sheronica has been competing in bodybuilding since 2012, and she earned her pro card at Musclemania in 2013. But then she got her pro card in IFBB at the Pittsburgh Nationals in 2014. Welcome to FBB Forum, Sheronica. I'm really pleased to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you for inviting me.
Thank you. Now, my first few questions are about how you got started in bodybuilding. And I was just curious, did you have an athletic or sports background before you started in bodybuilding?
Yes, I did. So I was a dancer as well as a track and field athlete all throughout track and field from before middle school, through middle school, throughout high school and college. I was a collegiate track athlete as well.
Okay.
I did something called the heptathlon, which is a 7 event sport, and that is javelin, shot put, hurdles, long jump, high jump, 200-meter dash, and the 100-meter hurdles.
Wow.
And indoor, it gets cut to five, but that's what I got a scholarship for in college. And then in college is also how I got injured and tore my knee out and had to have almost complete surgery on my knee. Took me out for a while, but bodybuilding helped me get back into sports
Um,
after college.
yeah, you said you got injured in hurdles, right?
Yes, in hurdles, I was doing an exercise called overdrive hurdles and at practice, and coach was running us pretty good, and I was tired. It was hot out, and it was that last set, and I couldn't get my leg over the hurdle quick enough, and I kind of shocked myself, and it was one of the higher ones. The overdrive hurdles, there's a short hurdle, then there's a tall hurdle, then there's a short hurdle.
Oh, yeah.
But it was one of the higher ones, and I didn't snap my knee back over my trail leg back over quick enough, and I kind of stopped in the track and snapped my knee back and popped my LCL, ACL, and then twisted it around because I was in shock.
Oh,
And the
wow.
doctors were like, if you'd have twisted it another inch more, you'd have pulled your whole knee out of socket. I'm like, oh,
Oh, no.
okay. But yeah, track and field kind of tore my body up, but bodybuilding helped bring it back, build it back up after a lot of rehab.
Wow, yeah, that stinks though that you got injured like that. But it got you into bodybuilding, so that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, so I got started in bodybuilding in 2012. Yeah.
And who convinced you to do your first contest?
Okay, so there was a lady who came to a town hall meeting that I was working in Germany at the time for American Red Cross, and she was like, "Are you a bodybuilding competitor?" I was like, "No." So you should think about it. And I was real bored at the time, and I was just like, "You know what? I should think about doing that." So she gave me the information. I pretty much asked her a bunch of questions about how to get into it or sign up for it, and it was on post, so it wasn't like I had to travel for it or anything. I just need to know where to get a suit, how to pose, what event to get in. So I entered figure, and there was about 20 girls, and I did no training for it, no dieting. I just won the show. So I
Wow.
decided to do another one about a month later, and I actually won that one again. And the first one I think was IMDA, and then the second one was INDF, some naturally.
Yeah,
And then after that, I decided to test my waters with Musclemania in Paris and won bodybuilding and figure.
wow.
So 2012 was like a big year for me, and then 2014 as well is when I really got into Musclemania.
That's terrific. Yeah. I remember Musclemania, and I remember they used to run it on ESPN, and they had some really good shows back in the day. And I saw one of the
Yeah,
Miami shows years ago. Gosh, 25 years ago probably, I think. But
yeah, that was actually the Miami Championship was where I got my pro card for them, and then I forfeited it like two weeks later by going into the MPC, but
Oh,
I
wow.
haven't left IFBB or MPC since. I've been a part of this federation since 20 got my pro card in 2014. I did my first show in 2013. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, that's really cool. We were talking a little bit about how you're bridging the gap between some of the first physique competitors and some of the ones today, because I think your last show was 2021, wasn't it?
Yes. So I so my last show before that show was 2019 Arnold Classic, and I got second um to Natalia actually. And that was my second Arnold Classic because I did it again back in 2017. And Danny Castillo had beat me then.
Hmm.
In 2019, my body was just tired. My back was in a little injured, and I just was tired and wanted a break. And I was getting ready to move also from North Carolina to Florida. So it was just a big life change, stuff changed. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call it quits. And then COVID happened, and then it was just a lot. And after COVID, I was like, hey, maybe let me try and come back. But when I tried to come back, um, just a lot of different things happened with coaches. Um, my first coach, I had to let him go after the New York Pro. And then I found another coach, and I was with him for a month, and then he passed away.
Hmm.
And then my last coach, he was awesome. He came in last minute and kind of coached me into Chicago Pro um, at that time, which was held in Atlanta. But
Yeah.
I didn't do so great because I actually found out I had COVID after
Oh,
the show. Yeah, so it was just a really bad week. My very last show, Chicago Pro. I think I ended up in either ninth or tenth, which was my worst placing in my entire career.
yeah,
But
sure.
um, now I get why.
Uh-huh.
I was
Yeah.
withholding, but that whole week I just was not feeling great, and I thought it was prep, but it was actually sickness.
Yeah. I
So, and
understand.
I had been COVID free in the state of Florida for a long time, and so it kind of caught me off guard when I did catch it. So it was just, and then after that, I had a hard time coming back, um, getting back in the gym. So now I'm back in the gym, and I just kind of maintain my body. Um, I still work out consistently.
Yeah.
Do I eat healthy? Sometimes, most of the time, because once you're into this lifestyle, it's hard to get out.
Yeah. I
So
understand.
yeah.
I was curious, like when you first started bodybuilding, when did you kind of feel like that first I kind of belong here in the gym kind of moment? Because I think a lot of people do feel intimidated by gyms.
Um, I guess I was never intimidated because I didn't wasn't that type of person that was like, oh, let me go to the gym. I'm gonna go work out because I grew up as a track athlete,
Hmm.
and when I got to college was the first time I actually learned how to lift weights. Actually, my first day at weight practice for track and field, I pulled my back out. They
Mm.
gave me a list of exercises, and one of them was the deadlift. I wasn't trained properly how to do it, and very
Oh,
first day, I hurt my back, and I haven't been the same since.
oh wow. Huh.
Yeah, I haven't. That was years ago. That was in 2007. Yes, so
Wow.
it was a while ago. Um, Now that I'm thinking about it, that was a very long time, and my back has always had issues since then.
Really? Oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
sorry about that.
But getting back in the gym in Germany, because I had missed being, physically active,
Yeah.
was that was inviting to me because it kind of gave me more like a purpose
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
get back in shape. So entering the bodybuilding world kind of helped me appreciate the gym again, because before that I was not.
Sure.
I was just kind of just rehabbing to make sure my knee and my leg was still normal.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that makes sense. That's good that you got into it though. Now I was curious when, in terms of getting up on stage for the first time in a bikini, was that kind of nerve-wracking for you, or were you kind of
Oh
nervous?
no.
No?
Now, you want to know something funny? Growing up, I didn't wear a lot of clothes that revealed my shape.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but doing competitions, I love it. I like to get dolled up. You like glitz and glam. I'm a girly girl, so
Yeah.
that part, getting your hair and makeup and not everything all styled, and even the tanning part is kind of cool to me. I like the process.
Uh-huh.
And then growing up doing pageants, and dancing professionally, I really don't have any stage fright. That's kind of like
That's good.
my time to shine. That's my time to shine. I've always loved performing, so
Yeah.
that's another reason why I love posing people now, um, because I enjoy it a lot. I've always done performance, stage performance growing up, so it's just another enhancement for me.
Your posing has always been good too. I just from following your career for the last several years now. So yeah, and you do a good job with coaching, and that's a good transition too. Could you speak a little bit about your coaching career and how long have you been doing posing coaching?
So I've been doing it for a while, like off and on. But when I moved to Florida, I moved to Melbourne for a while, and I met Sherry actually at the gym,
Uh-huh.
um, at a posing clinic actually, at Raise the Bar in Melbourne, and she liked, I guess liked me working there, and she was actually my first posing client
Oh
client here
yeah.
in Florida.
Oh
Yes,
wow.
and I've been working with Sherry since before she got her pro card. Um,
Wow.
it's been a very, very long time. I think she either just got her pro card at that time or was going to get her pro card. It was so long ago. So, but she was my first, and then I started working with a few other girls in that area of Melbourne.
Okay.
And then I moved to Orlando, and I kind of stopped doing it for a while. But last year, I met up with a guy. His name is Clay Parker with Team Unmatched here in Orlando.
Mhm.
And they kind of were like, we need a posing coach. And I was like, well, I do it. And he kind of got me started, and word of mouth. And I found a gym to work out of. And then actually this month, next week makes it a year for posing.
Really? That's terrific. Wow. And do you work, I know you work with in-person folks, but do you also work with them through like Zoom and Skype and that kind of thing too?
Yes, yes. So I have virtual sessions as well. Actually trying to grow my virtual presence more. My in-person presence is pretty big, um, but I want to grow the virtual presence more. So you'll see me start doing. I'm working on some things now to get that presence or that online presence just a lot bigger.
That's great. And you coach men and women, don't you?
Yes, men and women. So I do IFBB, NPC, PCA, OCB. Um, I haven't really touched on anyone in NGA or any of those categories yet. And of course, muscle mania is not big here in this area.
Yeah,
But I have posed many, I've posed bikini, men's physique for PCA. For OCB, I've posed figure, trained bikini, and men's physique. Um, and then, of course, NPC and IFBB.
that's terrific. Wow, that's a lot of divisions too. Would you say is it easier to coach men or women? I was just curious.
Uh, well, I like working with both. Men just intake all the information. Um, Everybody just intakes information from me. It's not hard for me. I'm a very mechanical person when it comes to coaching with posing, and I
Mhm.
think that's what people um, like teaching you how to connect your mind with the muscle that's being shown. I think that portion right there is key to success in posing. And it doesn't matter what category you're in. And I don't think a lot of posing coaches touch on that as well. They kind of just put you into your position to look great, but do you connect with the actual muscle that you're trying to flow? Like, what's your best attribute? How can you flex that better?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
just a lot of minimal stuff to improve your posing that I like to do more mechanically, which makes it more fun for me. But I enjoy women's physique, classic bodybuilding because it's just so much that you can teach.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
so much, a lot that you can teach.
That's great. Now, I bet you were really proud last year when Sherry Priami, she got the Best Poser Award at Chicago. And I was curious if there's talk a little bit about Sherry, but also if there's any other clients that you'd like to highlight.
Yes, so I have a few. I'm going to touch on maybe two or three. So Sherry, yes, Sherry. Like I said, she was my first client when I moved to Florida, and we took Best Poser Award last year for Chicago Pro, which is
Yeah.
actually really big for the bodybuilding world. That's a really prestigious show.
Yeah.
I think it's a tier. I think it is a tier one show now. It may be tier one or tier two. Um, but everyone knows for bodybuilding, for women, they do the best poser award, and we won that for Chicago. We worked on that routine for a very long time.
Really? Yeah.
Cherry posed. It was funny because when she first came to me, like weeks before her first show, we did a lot of time. We spent a lot of time on women's physique, and that routine was actually a women's physique routine. And
Yeah. I
then
remember.
2 weeks before her show, she's like, "All right, Sheronica, I'm switching to bodybuilding." And I was like,
Oh.
"Okay." So at that time, she was going to be my first female pro bodybuilder for posing. And I was just
Oh,
like,
wow.
she kind of took me for surprise. I was like, well, my work's cut out for me. It was a challenge, but we worked really, really hard on changing that up. Just switching some things, switching our hands, leaving some of it kind of where it was to make sure it was still feminine and pretty and powerful at the same time. And
Yeah.
Sherry's good at picking her own music, so I don't really have to assist her very much with that.
Okay.
Um, but the routine was phenomenal. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And wait till you guys see the next one. Can't wait till you guys see the next one. It's gonna take you by surprise. It's so pretty, but
It's awesome.
she's great at song choice. So this next one is gonna be nice. So look
That's
out
true.
for her.
Very cool. Yeah. No, she is I think you've really helped her better flowing better on stage. And yeah, she's just really got a really good look on stage. And I think this might be her year. Maybe she'll get to the Olympia this year. I think it will be.
This is I'm praying, we're praying that she does, and I have a lot of faith that she will. Sherry is an amazing competitor, and she's got a lot of potential to do
Yeah.
great things in play sport. So I'm wishing her the best of luck this year, and I am excited about the many more weeks ahead that we have. So I actually just had practice with her this morning.
Oh,
So
very good.
she competes in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So
Yeah, in Vancouver. Yeah, that's coming up really soon. That's exciting though.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then next client I'll highlight is Cheryl. Um, she is female bodybuilder as well, pro, and we have been working together since last year. Actually, she was my first bodybuilder. I take that back. Um, Sherry was my second because she switched from women's physique to bodybuilding, and it's funny because Cheryl did the same thing. Cheryl was women's physique, and then as we started practicing and posing, her coach was like, "Oh, we're gonna do female bodybuilding." So
Oh, I see.
we
Yeah.
did that all the way up, and we practiced from like almost February all the way up into Tampa
Wow.
Pro.
Okay.
And she won her master's classes. Um, and her routine was awesome as well. I don't know if you got to see that as well.
It was.
Um,
I've actually going to be interviewing her later today too. So yeah, I'm excited
Yeah,
to
she
talk
told me.
to
I talked to her this morning. She told me.
her.
Yeah. So Cheryl, she's a really, really close good friend of mine as well. So you're gonna love that interview. She's a great, awesome person.
That's great. Yeah. It's Cheryl Mears too for folks, Mears for folks who were wondering. So
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Any other clients you want to highlight or you want?
Um, so I have, oh, this is the thing. I have so many clients, but pro wise, I'm working with um Corey Morales as well. She's masters figure. She's awesome. I'm excited for her to get back on stage. She's shooting for Masters Olympia.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I have Vanessa. Of course, you guys see her all the time. That's my little chickadee there. She does all my social media for Profit Posing.
Okay.
Um, so most of the videos you see posted, she posted for me. But I am so excited for her this year because we are trying to get that pro card as well.
What's
But
her?
so many clients. I have so many clients.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
So many clients. Tina, um, Gleason, she went to Amateur Olympia this past year and she did awesome in figure. I forget her exact placing, but I'll be working with her soon again. And I think she's gonna be reaching for Amateur Olympia again because it's held in Orlando.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
getting
Oh,
booked.
yeah. The Olympia's coming back
Yeah.
to Orlando, which is nice. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And then I'm so excited to see Miss Rita. She started her season with Southeasterns in about 3 weeks. And I'm trying to convince her to do Masters Olympia. I mean Masters National
Okay. Oh,
to
very
get that
cool.
pro card. So she's
Yeah.
one of the ones that just competes for fun. She's
Um,
older,
okay.
but I think she has some potential to go and actually do well at Masters.
That's great. I'll make sure to include your Instagram and your website too at the bottom so people can learn more about your clients too. So
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Now, I was just curious, could you give advice to aspiring pros on what to look for when picking a posing coach?
Okay, so from my experience, when I first entered, like I said, I did a lot of research on YouTube. And I learned most of my stuff from watching, just really, really, really studying YouTube because I had no help. I didn't
Hmm.
have a coach. I didn't have a posing coach. Shoot, even back then, I didn't even have choices with shoes. I had to just order the ones. There was no strap around the ankle. Um, I went bodybuilding.com, read some articles about the shoes, ordered the shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Bodybuilding.com, read some articles about suits, and then I think I ordered my first suit from like Salaya Designs, which I would not do that. But it was a lot of learning on my own as far
Yeah,
as I like with posing and the sport. And I
sure.
think with my dance background, I took more into it and put more effort into it because it was something that made that bodybuilding life very fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're picking a posing coach, I feel like you need to be with someone who can actually make you feel excited about your prep. Like
Hmm.
a coach that making you feel excited about what you're presenting on stage. If they can't make you feel confident enough to present your package on stage, then that's not the right posing coach for you. You
Hmm.
need someone who can actually teach you not to just pose, but actually enjoy your posing and
Yeah,
make it more personal for yourself.
yeah,
Because
sure.
there's not a lot of personal posing, I think, nowadays. I know you watch and you learn, you watch, you learn. But in order for it to be fun, that coach has to be able to bring your confidence level up high. And first day in my sessions, that is my number one goal is to bring your confidence level up so that
Hmm.
you enjoy, you know, the process of learning how to pose and not get frustrated because it can be frustrating, you
Yeah,
know,
sure.
especially if you're not, let's say you're a female, you're not used to walking in heels or, posing in heels. That could be a struggle. For the guys who know nothing about flexing the lats or something like that, like learning all those things can be difficult. But once
Hmm.
you learn it and then you actually learn the connection from here to here, me as a posing coach, that makes me more happy because now I feel confident that you feel confident to actually show what it is you've been working for so long.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's really cool. That's good advice. And and yeah, yeah, I would think a big part of it would, especially initially, making people feel comfortable on stage, just because they they know their routine and they feel comfortable doing the mandatories, and just kind of getting over those initial nerves, maybe, you know.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. Um, I've never been nervous on stage except for one show, and that was my very first Olympia. Um, but after that, you know, I took off from there. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna have fun, whatever it is that I'm doing. Um, because when you start to stress about your stage presence, that kind of pulls you back in your performance because you're not confident or proud about who you are that day.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so if I can't get you as a posing coach to feel confident in what it is, the package that you're presenting, then I'm not that coach for you. But
Hmm.
I do feel like with my background, I know enough um, to teach you how to be, you know, presentful on stage.
Sure. That's really cool. Um, Now, my next few questions are a little bit about competing, and we had talked a little bit about this earlier, but would you consider, competing again, or do you think you retired for good from the stage? And I've seen you on Instagram a few times recently, and you look like you could get up on stage now, probably. You look great. So,
Thank you. So once you're a bodybuilder, always a bodybuilder.
yeah.
And that statement is so true.
Hmm.
I say I'm retired right now. But who knows, a year, 2, 3 years from now, I might be like, oh, let me just think about competing again. And
Okay,
if I,
cool.
if I'm able to, get with a good coach and, they can, I'm comfortable with their coach and, I love their plan maybe in the future. But right now, I'm kind of just enjoying building the profit posing because it got me still involved in the sport. And then I
Mhm.
also work with Pro Tan as well, and I love doing that. So as long as I'm involved, I think I've had my fun and play on stage, but I will never say never because you never know.
That's true. Yeah, that's cool that we might see you back again.
You never know. Kevin LeBron came back, you
Yeah,
know,
I know.
so I'm not gonna say never,
Sorry,
but
my cat just broke something there.
oh,
Oh, it's
not
okay.
gonna say never, but maybe in the future, maybe.
That's great. Okay, very cool. Yeah. Um, uh, I was thinking you can kind of live vicariously through your clients too, so you can see them up on.
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
do. I enjoy. They keep me busy, that's for sure. And the season is starting up, and I try to keep a list like who's doing what show, this show. But if you get extensive, but I wish all my clients luck this year.
Hmm.
Um, but I will try and get online more this year and let you guys know who's doing what on a week by week basis. So the biggest one is Sherry coming up first in Vancouver,
Yeah.
and then there's a small show after that that I actually have a booth for Southeastern.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
very cool.
anybody in the state of Florida who's coming to Southeastern on April 22nd, you'll be able to meet me. I will have a table at that show.
Oh, that's terrific. That's great. Very cool. Um, Now I was curious, unfortunately, a lot of the promoters are dropping women's bodybuilding and women's physique from their shows in the last few years. I was just curious, what's your take on that? And personally, I worry that there won't be many shows left for those divisions over time.
Honestly, I'm hoping to see a little bit of changes this year with the judging to be more consistent across the board. And that is very important for judging to be consistent across the board from category to category on a pro level because the amateurs watch us
Hmm.
and they aspire to be us. They aspire to be on stage with us. And I just feel like the sport is getting to a point where it's almost like too big of a dream for an average competitor to
Mm.
want to reach those goals.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
and if you go to, so with me being a posing coach, I'm going to a lot of the local shows now. And as a competitor, when I was pro, I never really I went to a few shows, but not as much as I do now. And you see categories, not just figure and I mean, not just women's physique and bodybuilding, but even figure. It's lacking um, at local smaller shows that are not
Yeah.
national or pro, and that's
Hmm.
kind of sad to see.
Yeah. Hmm.
Wellness and bikini is growing. Yes, I love those events, but um, we started the sport for females with women's bodybuilding.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And I just feel like we should put more effort into getting our amateur athletes to want to do those categories at these smaller shows. But it's not going to happen when what they see is not consistent on a pro level.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. And that's really a good point about the smaller shows having very few or no women's bodybuilding or physique competitors. And yeah, which is kind of weird to see, but yeah, that's not good
And
though.
like I said, it's very sad because, figure is a bigger category too, but even I feel figure is starting to die down as well
It is, yeah. Hmm.
on the amateur level.
Hmm.
Um, you go to national shows, and of course, you'll have these larger categories of all these, of all these divisions, but it starts at the local level.
Hmm.
And if we can't get these competitors to come into the local level, then yes, women's physique, female bodybuilding, and figure will continue to get smaller and smaller and smaller.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a shame. Yeah. I hope there is a kind of a little turnaround on that over time. I don't know. We'll have to see.
I am involved with a lot of posing clinics now, and I get excited when I do see more figure and women's physique and women's bodybuilders girls come to these clinics because it makes me feel
Yeah.
like, oh great, my category is still here. you
Yeah.
know, um,
Uh-huh.
my category is still surviving, and I give massive kudos to those amateurs who are trying to get their pro cards. Women do not stop. Keep trying. It is possible.
Yeah.
Um, Nothing is impossible, but to keep our sport going, keep
Yeah.
going.
I like that. We're running a little low on time. We have about 6 minutes. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. I was just curious, what advice would you give to women bodybuilders who are kind of facing body dysmorphia? And I was wondering if you've kind of experienced that yourself as a competitor.
Well, like I said earlier, I think once a bodybuilder, always a bodybuilder, and it does not matter what category you are doing, you're always going to be hard on yourself,
Hmm.
especially during the pre-process, those weeks before a show, before you start looking your best. Um, it's very big to actually love your physique and love your body for what it is before you even enter this
Hmm.
sport. Because if you
Yeah.
don't like it before, then I feel like the mental struggle and mental process for all those weeks before becomes harder on a person, just because the pressure is there so much more.
Yeah. That
And
makes sense. Yeah.
if you don't have a love for yourself and what you're doing, then how are you gonna love what you're doing in the process and actually because people are judging you, and I feel like in order to be judged, you need to be able to not be hard on yourself and judge yourself. I don't know. I just bodybuilders, and I deal with it myself. Like I've always thought my legs were something that need improvement, and I still do to this day.
Hmm.
Um, but I have to learn to accept, like, I'm not bodybuilding anymore. I don't need to have the biggest legs in the planet,
Uh-huh.
Um, but that is a desire. So with bodybuilding, it's like you come into the sport with your body and your composition a certain way, and the more you get into it, the more things changes, and then you kind of get this addiction to, I want this, I want this, I want bigger shoulders, or I want a smaller waistline, and I want this, and I want that, and the more you focus on the detail that you don't have,
Uh-huh.
you know what I mean? That stress, extra stress is unnecessary.
Yeah.
When you can just enjoy, like I always tell my clients, like just follow the plan and enjoy the process
Okay.
because it doesn't happen overnight. Bodybuilding takes time and years to get to a
Yeah.
certain shape and physique. So you have to learn to love the body that you have at that time when you're working on it, you
Yeah.
know, um, so that you can love the body and the package that you present on stage, no matter what the judges say to you that day.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and that was a big thing for me because I never had issues with like body dysmorphia or like not eating or nothing like that. My metabolism's always been super, super fast. Like I said, I ran track before this, so
Yeah.
um, my metabolism is actually really high now,
Hmm.
but I've just love like being able to be in shape, but not in competitive shape, but not like counting myself, oh, because oh, this shoulder's smaller, I need to hit the weight harder. No, you're normal, Sheronica.
Uh-huh.
You can live like a normal person and just enjoy your life. It does not
Uh-huh.
matter if your legs are not the biggest,
Yeah.
But anybody that knows me knows like I want bigger legs. I always say that. But I know that that was something that, was one thing that I needed to work on in my career. And I tried it. I attempted and attempted.
That's
um,
yeah, I understand.
so
No.
I call that thought for me was my body dysmorphia,
Yeah.
not having a body part a certain way and wanting it and wanting it and wanting it, that desire, um, when you should really just learn to love your body comp as it is
Yeah.
and appreciate it as it grows and turns into, a better physique year by year. Don't rush the process either. Enjoy that process.
Yeah. That's really good advice. I appreciate that. And I think that's good advice for people watching here too. So we're almost out of time. I really appreciate you coming on board and joining me for this interview, though. And what I'll do is I'll include, like I said, your Instagram page and your website page down below in the comment section. And and yeah, we're gonna have to see how your clients do. I'm especially, like, as I said, excited about Sherry. So we'll see how she does in a couple weeks
Yay!
here. Yeah.
Also, I'm going to be doing another posing clinic with Zenobia in Burnsville, Minnesota, on May 27th. So
Oh,
if
very
you're in
cool.
the area, please go on, Eventbrite through Zenobia's page and sign up for that clinic as well.
Oh yeah, Zenobia is awesome too. Yeah, thank you. And I know
Yeah.
you've done posting clinic in Orlando with her, didn't you?
Yes, and it turned out pretty good. So we're doing another one with Iron Alliance Gym in Burnsville.
Cool. We're going to get cut off here, but it was really good talking with you, and thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you. We'll get posted. That's posted soon too. Thank you.
Awesome. Have a good one.
Thank you. Take care.